Did war elephants really rule the battlefield? Throughout history, warfare has witnessed countless innovations, each designed to give one army an advantage over another. Among these innovations, the use of elephants in warfare stands out as one of the most imposing and unique. The image of mighty war elephants leading troops into battle is not only a striking symbol of military power, but also a testament to the ingenuity of ancient civilizations. But how did this practice come about? And why were elephants, massive creatures with no inherent ties to human conflicts, thrust into the brutal world of war? The origins of using elephants in warfare can be traced back to the Indian subcontinent around the 4th century BCE. Elephants were revered in Indian culture, not just for their size and strength, but also for their perceived intelligence and majestic presence. They were seen as symbols of power and were integral to royal processions and religious ceremonies. A matter of time before their physical attributes were harnessed for war, Indian rulers quickly recognized the strategic advantage of employing elephants in battles. Their sheer size made them formidable opponents, capable of trampling soldiers, breaking enemy lines, and causing mass panic. Additionally, their height gave archers and spearmen atop them a significant advantage over their adversaries. The earliest recorded use of war elephants is credited to the Indian king, Porus, who faced Alexander the Great in the Battle of the Hydaspes in 326 BCE. Though Alexander's forces ultimately won the battle, the encounter left a lasting impression on the Greeks and marked the beginning of the spread of war elephants to other regions. Following their introduction in India, the use of war elephants spread westward, making its way into the military arsenals of Persia, the Hellenistic kingdoms, and eventually Rome. The Achaemenid Empire of Persia, always eager to adopt new military technologies, incorporated elephants into their armies, particularly during their campaigns in the Indian subcontinent. The successors of Alexander the Great, known as the Diadochi, also recognized the value of war elephants. Among these, the Seleucid Empire and the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt became the most prominent users of elephants in warfare. The Seleucid ruler Antiochus I is famously known for employing war elephants during his reign. These animals became so integral to his military strategy that he earned the nickname Antiochus the Elephant. The Ptolemies, on the other hand, imported African elephants for their military, leading to the distinction between the larger Indian elephants and the slightly smaller African species. One of the most famous battles involving war elephants was the Battle of Gaugamela in 331 BCE, where Alexander the Great faced the Persian king Darius III. Although Darius only fielded a small number of elephants, their presence on the battlefield was significant. The Macedonian soldiers, who had never before encountered such creatures in battle, were initially taken aback by the sight of these towering beasts. However, Alexander, with his characteristic adaptability, devised a strategy to neutralize the elephants by focusing on their handlers and exploiting the animals' susceptibility to noise and confusion. While the elephants did not play a decisive role in the battle's outcome, their use by Darius III highlighted the growing recognition of these animals as powerful military assets. The Battle of Gaugamela, despite being a loss for the Persians, demonstrated the psychological impact that war elephants could have on an opposing army, a factor that would be exploited in later battles. After Alexander's death, his empire was divided among his generals, leading to the formation of the Hellenistic kingdoms. These kingdoms, particularly the Seleucid and Ptolemaic dynasties, continued to use war elephants extensively. The Seleucids, who controlled a vast territory stretching from the Mediterranean to India, had access to both Indian and African elephants, allowing them to maintain large contingents of these animals in their army. Most notable uses of war elephants by the Seleucids occurred during the Battle of Ipsus in 301 BCE. This battle, fought between the Diadochi for control of Alexander's empire, saw the deployment of over 400 war elephants by the Seleucid forces. The elephants played a crucial role in securing victory by disrupting the enemy's cavalry and creating chaos in their ranks. The Ptolemies, ruling over Egypt, also maintained a significant number of war elephants. They, however, primarily used African elephants, which were slightly smaller and less powerful than their Indian counterparts. Despite this, the Ptolemies' war elephants proved effective in battles and were a symbol of the kingdom's military might. Thus, no discussion of war elephants would be complete without mentioning the Carthaginian general Hannibal Barca. Hannibal's use of elephants during the Second Punic War is one of the most legendary episodes in military history. In 218 BCE, Hannibal embarked on an audacious campaign to invade Italy by crossing the Alps with his army, which included a contingent of war elephants. The journey across the Alps was treacherous, and many of the elephants perished due to the harsh conditions. However, the few that survived played a significant role in Hannibal's campaign against Rome. The sight of elephants on Italian soil struck fear into the hearts of the Romans, who had never before faced such creatures in battle. Hannibal's most famous victory, the Battle of Cannae in 216 BCE, did not involve elephants directly in the fighting. However, their presence in earlier battles had already contributed to the psychological warfare that Hannibal waged against Rome. Although Hannibal's campaign ultimately ended in defeat, his innovative use of war elephants left an indelible mark on military history. The Romans, despite their initial shock and awe at facing war elephants, quickly adapted to this new form of warfare. After suffering initial setbacks, they developed tactics to counter elephants effectively. One such tactic involved the use of velites, lightly armed skirmishers who would harass the elephants with javelins and other projectiles, aiming to wound the animals and provoke them into a rampage within enemy lines. The Battle of Zama in 202 BCE, which marked the end of the Second Punic War, saw the Romans decisively defeat Hannibal's forces, including his war elephants. The Roman general Scipio Africanus employed a clever strategy of opening lanes in his infantry formations, allowing the elephants to pass through without causing significant damage. This tactic, combined with the discipline of the Roman legions, neutralized the elephants' effectiveness and secured a Roman victory. Despite their success in countering war elephants, the Romans were not immune to their allure. After their encounters with Hannibal and subsequent campaigns in the Hellenistic world, the Romans began to incorporate elephants into their own armies. However, their use was limited, and the Romans preferred to rely on their traditional strengths in infantry and cavalry. As warfare evolved, the use of elephants in battle began to decline. The development of more advanced weaponry, particularly the widespread use of firearms and cannons, diminished the effectiveness of war elephants. These animals, once seen as unstoppable forces on the battlefield, became vulnerable to new forms of attack that exploited their size and relatively slow speed. Moreover, the logistics of maintaining war elephants became increasingly impractical. These massive creatures required vast amounts of food and water, and their upkeep was costly. As armies grew more mobile and campaigns extended over longer distances, the challenges of transporting and sustaining war elephants outweighed their benefits. By the time of the late Roman Empire, the use of war elephants had largely faded from the Western world. However, they continued to be employed in various forms in the East, particularly in India and Southeast Asia, where they remained a symbol of military power and royal authority. The legacy of war elephants is a complex one. On the one hand, these animals were formidable tools of war, capable of striking fear into the hearts of soldiers and disrupting enemy formations. Their use in battles from the Indian subcontinent to the Mediterranean influenced the course of history and left a lasting impression on the cultures that encountered them. On the other hand, the use of elephants in warfare raises ethical questions about the exploitation of animals for human conflict. These majestic creatures, revered in many cultures for their strength and intelligence, were subjected to the brutal realities of war, often suffering horrific injuries and death on the battlefield. Despite their decline in military use, war elephants have left an enduring legacy in the annals of history. They continue to captivate the imagination, symbolizing both the might of ancient armies and the ingenuity of the commanders who sought to harness their power. Today, war elephants are remembered not just as instruments of war, but as symbols of the complex relationship between humans and the natural world. The era when armies were led by elephants is a fascinating chapter in the history of warfare. It is a story of innovation, adaptation, and the constant quest for military advantage. From the battlefields of ancient India to the campaigns of Hannibal, war elephants played a pivotal role in shaping the strategies and outcomes of some of history's most significant conflicts. While the age of war elephants has long passed, their legacy lives on, reminding us of a time when the might of an army could be measured by the size of the beasts that marched at its forefront. As we reflect on this legacy, we are reminded of the ever-evolving nature of warfare and the enduring impact of these remarkable animals on the course of human history. If you enjoyed this epic journey, please subscribe to our channel for more thrilling historical tales. Don't miss out on new videos. Hit the notification bell to stay updated.